let's go. Other 4 o'clock games. Seattle Seahawks 21, Arizona Cardinals 20. Seahawks finished 9-8. Cardinals fall to 4-13 to finish the season. Cardinals are now going to pick at number 4 overall. There was a point in yesterday where Arizona and the Chargers were both playing to win with the 4 and 5 picks in the draft on the line, both trying to win, both ended up losing, and ended up Arizona at 4, Chargers at 5. But nobody was tanking yesterday.
No, I mean the Chargers had a game-winning kick that, had they put it over, would have dropped them a spot in the draft.
Yes. This was, Arizona playing tough. Once again, Seattle's up 13-6. There were so many games this year where Arizona, as the underdog, was down and should have been down, and they came back. And they come back to tie again, 13-13, with a James Conner 29-yard touchdown. Then Kyler Murray hits Trey McBride for 8 yards. Trey McBride, what a great season he ends up having. That's a beautiful piece for Arizona to help to build around on that offense. So Arizona goes up 20-13, and then Geno Smith, man, did it again. Comeback attempt, maybe with the playoffs on the line. I think by this game, they needed the Packers to lose. The Packers-Bears game was like record time fast.
It was already done, I think.
So you already knew that they were out, but Geno Smith leads another fourth quarter comeback. He's been doing that a ton these last 5 or 6 weeks of the season with a touchdown to Tyler Lockett. They go for 2. He hits Tyler Lockett again. That going for 2 was for the win, to go up by 1. Of course, like you said, Arizona had another field goal opportunity for the win, but they miss it. So Seattle locks in the winning season, 9-8, but just miss out on the playoffs.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, Arizona should have won this game. You look at some of the box score numbers, and I mean, obviously, so they got themselves in a position. They missed a 51-yarder in a dome. 51 yards in the dome. It's not like it's routine, but pretty makeable.
Should be able to hit it.
Yeah, particularly for a kicker of that experience, Matt Prater. He's made plenty of those in his career. But you look at some of the box score numbers. I mean, Arizona outgained Seattle by a massive number, like 140 yards-ish. They averaged way more per play. They had much better EPA per play. And, of course, as I said, they put themselves in a position to win that. Another game where the run game was a really big part of it. Like James Conner had a monster game, ends up with 150 rushing yards, averaged almost 5 yards per carry after contact, 4.8 yards per carry after contact, 5 explosive runs. Seattle's defense just couldn't stop James Conner, particularly late in the game. That final drive where Arizona were trying to go for the win, like it looked like they'd done it. They had a really nice pass to Michael Wilson, then a kind of speed option pitch out to James Conner. They got themselves into field goal range, and they couldn't quite get it done with the kick.
Another game where Seattle's, as you mentioned, with James Conner's success, 9 missed tackles by Seattle's run defense. Last week they had 15 against Steelers running backs. Rough finish to the season for Seattle. The discussion in Seattle is Geno Smith good enough to build around? And he's going to finish just outside the top 12, I believe, in PFF grading. He's right on the cusp. As I tweeted last night, the top 12 graded PFF quarterbacks, 10 of them are in the playoffs. The other 2 are Kirk Cousins, who had a chance at the playoffs but got hurt for the season, and then Justin Herbert, who obviously missed the rest of the season, but they weren't going to make the playoffs anyway. So 10 out of the top 12 make the playoffs, top 12 graded PFF quarterbacks. Geno Smith probably right outside that top 12 once the final grades come out. But he had another good season overall. When you add it all up, there were some down points in there. But, man, he was really good down the stretch. I think Seattle's just got to figure out that defense. Their front seven, again, I think has let them down. It's many years now in the Pete Carroll era where they feel a little underwhelming from a pass rush perspective. And then, once again, the run defense these last few weeks was not great. And then from Arizona, another good game for Kyler Murray. He finishes strong. There was a point where they were sitting there at the number 2 pick, and I thought they should consider a quarterback there. They could still consider a quarterback if they want, but it's far less likely now. I think it's going to be Kyler, and now they have a chance to really add some weapons and more offensive linemen and everything around him, the way this draft has fallen.
Yeah, I mean, given the contract that he's been signed to already, I think that their starting position should probably have been and should be do we see anything in this second half of the year stretch that Murray's going to come back off knee injury that says he can't be the guy? And I honestly think most of that takes place behind the scenes anyway. It's less what you see on the field, and it's more, hey, the previous regime wrote a clause into his contract that says he has to do homework. Like, is that actually a thing, or are they just crazy? And that's why they don't have the job anymore. So it's like, is Murray the leader we need? Is there anything we see that's like a massive red flag behind the scenes in the building that says this guy cannot be our starting quarterback going forward? If you don't see any of that, between what he's shown on the field coming back this year and like previous resume in a different offense where, 1 year he led the league in big time throw rate. He's obviously an athletic quarterback that's a real threat with his legs. Like, all these things is already there in terms of tape. So you put those two things together, I think, and you have your quarterback going forward. And now you're in position to maybe, draft a Marvin Harrison Jr. or whatever.
By the way, our friend Rick Spielman is going to be a part of this Commanders.
In Washington?
I don't know if he's part of. Here's what Schefter's saying. In a sweeping overhaul, Commanders owner Josh Harris has hired two prominent executives, former Warriors GM Bob Myers and then former Vikings GM Rick Spielman, to assist his group in searches for a new head of football operations and coach. Okay. So those guys are going to help in the search for the front office.
Search committee.
They're the search committee, I guess. So I'm going to text Rick right now.
See if you can get yourself in that. You could be in the search committee. There's probably money in that.
I'm refining. I know I should be part of the search. I should absolutely be part of the search.
That's what I'm saying. It's got to be consultancy money in that.
Then I would suggest myself.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure that's how the search committee usually works.
I'm going to. I did a Commanders mock draft.
Yeah.
Posted it on Twitter the other night. I'm going to send that to Rick.
Okay.
See what he thinks. Pass this on to Josh. See what happens.
I think you can either be on the committee or you can recommend yourself for the role. I don't think you can do both at the same time.
I'd rather recommend myself for the role.
Okay.
Send Rick my resume, which is a Twitter mock draft. And
Strong.
the model.
Strong resume.
I'm refining the model.